A very good evening to all the viewers who are connected live with us. I'm Shabana, your host and moderator for today's session, and I welcome you all to another episode of Tales and Tricks. Tales and Tricks is a series of fun filled events that has been initiated by Brighton School, and in today's session, we are going to present a wonderful live story session. यूं तो हम सभी दादी नानी के किस्से सुन के बड़े हुए हैं और जहां तक कहानियों की बात आती है तो शायद हम अपने आप में सभी कहानीकार हैं एंड वी टेल स्टोरीज एवरी डे be it telling about an incident, sharing an experience, or maybe revealing a secret. Now, quite often, a question pops up in our minds that why, after all, why do we do so? Why do we tell stories? And what importance do these stories hold in our lives? Why do we keep on budging our children every time? Read, read, read. For this, let me share a quote what a renowned author says, and the name is Goodwin. He says, great teaching is only one fourth preparation, and rest three-fourth is all about theater. And you will be amazed to know that storytelling is one such platform. It's one such magical tools which can actually add that edge to the lives of young children. Not only this, it can even open up a wide spectrum of imagination, creativity, and even fantasy and whatnot. In short, I would just say stories appeal directly to our hearts. And once the heart is open, mind is all set to learn. With this, I now introduce our speaker and master storyteller, Miss Nidhi Singh, a passionate educator and a trained storyteller who has been guiding the students' lives since past many years, in fact. She's a co-founder of Creatorati, a skill building and a storytelling studio. She also runs her own library to develop and refine the reading skills in young generation. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome to the session.
Hi, good evening, Shabana ma'am. Lovely to be here with all of you. So today we are going to be doing a story by the name The Mixed Up Chameleon. This is a story of a little chameleon. I hope you can see the chameleon. The little chameleon who was leading a very nice, lazy life. When he sat on a green leaf, he turned green. And then he slowly crawled to a trunk and he turned brown. Then he slithered away to a yellow flower and you could just not see him. When the chameleon has something to eat, he turns green like this. But when the chameleon is hungry, he turns dull and gray. So one day, the chameleon was just sitting and he was hungry and he was waiting. He looked right and he looked left. He looked up and he looked down and he just saw a fly buzzing past. Bzzz. Whoop. He took out his long tongue and grabbed the bee and he ate it. His tummy was filled and he was lazily walking ahead and he just happened to go to a zoo. In the zoo, he saw so many beautiful and colorful animals that he had never seen before. Then he saw a big white polar bear and he was thinking, I wish that I was as big as a polar bear. And whoosh, the chameleon turned into a huge polar bear. Then he was walking ahead and he saw a flamingo. And then he started thinking, I wish I could be as handsome looking as a flamingo. And then whoosh appeared two legs of a flamingo. And he was walking, whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. And as he moved ahead, he saw a fox. And he started thinking, I wish I was as smart as a fox. And whoosh appeared a bushy tail to the flamingo legs and to the bare body. And he started walking, whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. But just as he was going ahead, he saw a big pond, and there were many fish in the pond. So when he looked at the fish, he says, walking is pretty okay, but I wish I could swim like a fish. And whoosh appeared the fins on his body. Can you all see these beautiful orange fins on the body? He was very happy. Okay, now I have fins also. And he started walking. Whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. Guru, guru. But you know our chameleon? When he was walking ahead, he saw this deer. And he had these big antlers. And the deer was running here and there. And he got so impressed with the deer that he started thinking, I wish I had such big antlers, that of a deer. And whoosh appeared two antlers on his head. Now he was very happy. And he was walking. Whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. Guru, guru, gallop, gallop. As he was galloping ahead, he just saw a turtle. Now, do you know what a turtle has on the back? A turtle has a green shell on the back, a really hard shell. So looking at that turtle, the chameleon again started thinking, I wish I had such a strong shell on my back so that I can hide in it. And whoosh appeared a turtle back on the chameleon. It became a little heavy because you see the shell was really heavy, but still the chameleon went on. Whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. Group, group, gallop, gallop, clip, clap, clip, clap. As he was clipping and clapping and whooshing and whooping, he just saw the biggest animal that you can see, which is, it's an elephant. Oh my God, now do you know what that chameleon started thinking? I wish I could be as strong as the elephant. And whoosh appeared the head of the elephant. Now the chameleon also had a trunk. He had a bushy tail. He had a heavy back. He had fins and he had legs and he had a long tail that he already has. But as he was whooping, flipping, humping, galloping, grouping, clipping, clapping, and whining, he still saw another animal. And this time he saw a seal. Now you see, seal are very, very happy animals. Okay. So the seal was sitting very nicely and saying, hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. He was very happy. So the chameleon started thinking, I wish I could just be as happy, as happy, as happy as the seal. And what happened? Whoosh! appeared some flippers. And can you see our chameleon now? Can everybody see our chameleon? Can we see the chameleon actually? Or we see a mix of lot of animals here? Anyway, the chameleon wasn't bothered. Ha, tish, tish, tish. And he started walking. Whoop, flippity flop, flippity flop. Guru, guru, gallop, gallop, clip, clap, clip, clap. Hee-haw, hee-haw. And just then, as he was appearing to be very happy, he was also a little tired. And he was a little hungry. We all get hungry, right? And in the lockdown, I think we all get hungrier. So anyway, he was getting very hungry. And what does he see? He just sees this fly which goes bzzz, bzzz. Now the chameleon was trying to take out his tongue, but he didn't have a tongue. He had a tusk. So what should he do? Snort it on? He couldn't do that. Okay, he says, no bother, don't worry. I am happy. I look very like this. Okay. Again, a fly went past. Now the chameleon was really hungry. Oh my God, how do I eat? How do I eat? Oh God, what have I done to myself? I was good as a small little chameleon with a big tongue so that I could eat. And then he started thinking, I wish I was just back to being a chameleon as I was. And whoosh, the chameleon appeared as a chameleon. And he was so happy that he ate 5 flies that day. And he always learned this, that I am happy as I am. So now he started singing and dancing, and he was busy eating his flies, gone back to his long, lazy days. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a wonderful story you told. And I could hardly imagine that creature actually, like chameleon seeing that way. My God. That, yeah. Ma'am, as in starting, I forwarded that it is generally seen that we as parent, as teacher, we are generally confused. Like, what age group should be taught what kind of these stories? So can you please just tell a little about it, that at what age we should start developing this habit or inculcating this habit from reading to storytelling? What is the right age?
See, there is actually no age to start storytelling. All right. I would not, I would say that the storytelling starts in the womb. It actually does. And we all know the story of Abhimanyu, who heard the story in the womb and was able to break the Chakravyuh. But he only heard half of it, right? So we know the consequences of it as well. So the storytelling, talking to your child, starts at that age. But you see, when a child is born, the child is able to sit up a little. That is when you should start reading to the child. So the child will not understand maybe a lot of it, but in the subconscious brain, it is always registering that there is something like a book. And then that is to be read. That is to be seen pictures in, right? So as a child is small, we should start with picture books. We should start with something like a wordless book. There are books which just have pictures, which don't have any text. So we can start with those wordless books. And it is the expression, it is the voice modulation, which keeps the interest of the child in stories. So actually, yes, you can start with year 0.
Okay, like always it is, seen that we have some objective behind telling maybe a story or sharing any incident. So shall we start with some prime objective ever we start this kind of the session with the children?
The prime objective of storytelling is having fun,
Okay.
right? That is
Not
the
inducing anything in children basically.
no. So there is a concept of learning from abstract. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And the brain kind of learns in two ways. Either it's impact learning or it is repetitive learning, right? So storytelling is like repetitive learning. You keep on telling them stories,
And
let
that goes in
them,
subconscious mind.
yes, and let them figure out
Okay.
what their takeaway from a particular story is. Like, for example, with this story, the takeaway could be knowing the names of so many animals. The takeaway could be the color, the shape, the unique features of every animal. Okay.
Yeah.
The takeaway should be the takeaway could be that I am what I am and I'm happy being that. I don't want to be like the other person because I am what I am and I have my own unique feature. The chameleon had its own unique feature of the tongue. But if it had a tusk as a head like this, it doesn't fit. So maybe that is a takeaway for the child. When you keep telling the same story again and again, every time the takeaway for the child is going to be different.
Okay.
So
Fine.
please don't tell the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Just tell a story.
I was coming to that question only. That
Yes.
yeah, generally it is seen or in the class when we end up a story, we actually reveal, we disclose that this was the moral of the story. So we have this learning in our minds that yes, if a child is learning or listening a story, so there should be something which is being inculcated directly or maybe indirectly.
Right. So
Sometimes,
as soon as
yeah.
you tell the moral of the story, Shabana ma'am, you kill the story.
Okay.
Right? Because then, you see, we are all, even as adults, right? When somebody tells us that learn this, and we are like, why should I learn this? Even as adults, we do that, right? Unless until we ourselves, feel that. So if I see something, if I see somebody else doing something, I will say, okay, this is a good skill that I should learn. I will learn it. So same is with children. The moment you say the moral of the story is we should not be like others. नहीं, but मुझे तो मेरी friend ज़्यादा पसंद है ना, मुझे तो उसके जैसा बनना है.
Okay.
समझा लो moral. But if you keep repeating this story with a child, right? So the child will eventually figure that out himself or herself that, being me is good.
Okay. Nidhi ma'am, I have one more questions lined up here. Like, can storytelling also help in improving the memory? Is it true that it may help
Right, like I
in
said,
yeah.
you see, storytelling, just storytelling, it helps in listening skills. It helps in comprehension skills. You see, the biggest issue with the memory and learning is that we don't focus. If today in your class, a child has the ability to focus on what you are teaching, right? It will go inside the memory. The child will learn, right? So the storytelling right from childhood, it actually teaches us to bring that focus, that concentration, the ability to listen. Because, classroom scenario, as soon as you put up a question, even if it is not finished, मैं जवाब दूं, shall I answer? And not listening to the question, not listening to the peers. So when you are telling story, when you are giving them this kind of a platform, you are actually inculcating their listening, concentration, comprehension, and focus skills, which ultimately lead to a better memory.
One last question, Nidhi. Yeah. So, like, there are stories like which are full of violence sometimes. If not violence, there are things like somebody is being murdered, somebody is being killed by animal, like these kind of the stories. So, do you find these appropriate for young kids to hear or go ahead with such reading task or not? And
If
how
you ask
can,
me,
yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
please.
ask me, fairy tales, gruesome. They are gruesome fairy tales, okay? Which we have all kind of, we have been, brought up with those fairy tales.
True.
I will not name any stories, but if you think back and think at the plot, there is a wicked stepmom. Why does a stepmom has to be wicked? Okay. Or, there are some sisters who are pretty much very against you all the time. And still you get, like, at the end of the story, all
Princess
happily
or
ever
prince.
after.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, we should be very, very careful in selecting the story that we are telling to the child.
Okay.
Right? And we should pick up stories not because just they are popular, because everybody's doing that. We should actually see what kind of an objective we have. So see, as teachers, as parents, we do have an objective to tell a story. Of course, I said it is for fun, but then there has to be an objective, right? So our objective is not to make them more violent, because like I said, it is going to be a repetitive thing, a repetitive memory building exercise. So we don't want our children to get into this thing. In fact, all your stories that you see on Cartoon Network, except for a few stories which are nicely paced up, they are also violent.
And you can see children actually coping or, just copying or maybe just repeating same dialogues. Maybe Shinchan, I mean, no offenses, but yes,
right.
there are characters like, which child imitate that badly that sometimes it's too tough to tolerate in the family.
Absolutely. And then parents say, हमारा बच्चा हमारी सुनता नहीं है, हमारा बच्चा हमसे बात नहीं करता है, कैसे करेगा? See, stories again are a beautiful way of connecting with your child. So you will want to give them an input whose output you like.
Okay.
We would not want to give an input of violence or negativity or anything to the child. So we would like to give that input. A little bit of magic, here also this is not practically possible, right? But then there is a magic behind it, and it is okay to believe in that. So when the parents start communicating with their children, maybe through stories, maybe through reading, right? So then that builds up their character. So you see what output in the character you want and select the stories.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am. That was really a very enriching experience talking to you and being live with you. I hope, this session will be too valuable for all the parents and as well as the teachers, fraternity, like they can actually learn, like opt for the stories, right age for the storytelling session and everything. Looking forward that, yes, we'll have more of these sessions with you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Shabana ma'am. Pleasure being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.